Men, if you answer yes to any of these questions, you could be suffering from low testosterone. Do you have low sex drive? ED, always tired, depressed, loss of muscle mass, obese, loss of focus and drive? You, my friends, need to get your numbers checked. Check out Men's Health of Mississippi, located in Madison, Mississippi, and online at menshealthms.com. Guys, get your numbers checked today. Trust me, she'll thank you for it. I promise. menshealthms.com. Men's Health of Mississippi. Unfiltered, no sugar added talk radio, your daily dose of reality radio, the free range human show of choice, sugar free talk radio. And from what I heard, possibly the number one morning show in the city of Jackson. Can't confirm or deny. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. I'm live here on 103.9 FM WYAB. On a Monday morning post-Veterans Day weekend. I guess a lot of folks are off work today that since Veterans Day fell on a Saturday. Got to get them federal employees and bank folks their days off. God knows they don't get enough of them. Anyway, if you guys want to chime in this morning, 769-241-1944. We don't take no days off. 769-241-1944 is the Guns and Gear text line here on the radio show. Also, just FYI, I don't mind you guys texting me 24 hours a day if y'all want to, but a lot of times you guys will text me during the other host shows. The text line comes directly to my phone. Those guys don't have that text line. We've tried to set up a station-wide text line. Hasn't quite worked out yet. Hopefully we will get to that. But if they don't, more to the story, I don't mind y'all texting. But they're not getting those texts during their shows. I will occasionally screenshot something and send it to Jameson or Kim or whomever, but a lot of the times I don't have the opportunity to do that, and I don't want y'all to think y'all are being ignored. So that's the only reason I mentioned that. If you want to call in, 601-879-0002 is the phone line. Real quick, happy belated birthday to one of our longtime listeners, my friend Mr. Derek Wash. Happy birthday, brother. I know it was over the weekend, but hey, we don't do a radio show on the weekends, so you get your birthday wishes on Monday. All right, let's see here. Any other house cleaning before we need to get this party started? No. Question of the day. I just asked this on Facebook, so I'm going to ask you guys. If you could bring back, now this is just some Jackson stuff here. This ain't no political nonsense. If you could bring back one of our former sports teams for one game only, would it be the Jackson Mets at Smith-Wills Stadium? Not at Trustmark Park, at Smith-Wills Stadium. The old, just for all the memories, the smell of popcorn and all that greatness out there. Or would you bring back the Jackson Bandits, the hockey team, at the Coliseum for one game only? With the one caveat now is that they do sell beer and liquor in the Coliseum, so you can actually enjoy a hockey game without it feeling like you're on a church trip. So, well, we used to always sneak our little airplane bottles of liquor and stuff in there. Man, I can't believe the Coliseum went as long as it did without selling beer or liquor. Oh, man, Mississippi. Meanwhile, the Coast Coliseum been selling it since its inception. But for whatever reason up here in the capital city, ours did not. Cut off your nose, spite your dang face. Yes, Shanks, Fred texted in and says, and with the little helmet, ice cream. I knew there was something I was forgetting. Man, just the smell of the ballpark. And look, I love Trustmark Park, but it just don't have that smell like Smith-Wills had. It was just something about it. The Jackson Mets, Darryl Strawberry, man, I could go on and on and on. I'm asking this because I haven't yet decided, but I think I went to a lot of those Jackson Mets games with my dad, like those midday games. And while my dad's still alive, I would like to be able to do that one more time. One more time. Of course, I could just go make more memories with him. But it's just something about getting to do something you did when you were a kid. Hell, I might go, does JSU play their games there still? I may have to just go catch a baseball game there one day. My buddy of mine is a big part of that over there. I need to holler at him. See when I come out there and just watch a game. Man, I'd love to get some peanuts. I can't eat peanuts because of my diverticulitis, but for the sake of argument, I'd like to get some peanuts, cold beer, some popcorn. I can't eat popcorn either. So maybe some nachos. I'll get some nachos and a hot dog. I can eat nachos and a hot dog. And just taking a baseball game at Smith Wills. That would be fun. That would be fun. Woodrow says Jim Buck Ross is the reason no beer sales at the Coliseum on the Guns and Gear text line. Unknown texture says Jackson Bandits. That was awesome for my birthday one year. Keith says Smith Wills all day long. Great memories. Yeah, and Fred with the home run, no pun intended, on the little METS helmets with the ice cream. Man, taking it back right there. I think somewhere at my parents' house, my dad still got some, like the cups, the plastic Jackson METS cups. I guess you'd get your drinks in, and you could just stack them up. I think we still got some of those somewhere. All right, so that's the question of the day. If you could bring back one Jackson professional sports team for one day, just one day only, is it the METS at Smith Wills, the Bandits at the Coliseum? You know, I brought this Bandits conversation up last year on my Facebook page, and I even tagged Andy Gibson. It was either on Facebook or Twitter. And I said, man, you know, they brought the Seawolves back to the coast, their hockey team down there. The first couple games sold out. I don't know how it's still doing. I've seen some days they do good, some days they don't. Is that something that would work up here? Is that something you would get into Jackson for during the winter months? Because I know it plays at the same time college football does. I remember that. Would you invest into season tickets for the Bandits if it was affordable? Would you go to the Coliseum on a regular basis? I would like to see it. I would like to have a reason to come to Jackson more often, and especially at the fairgrounds. The fairgrounds is as safe as anywhere in this country. Is it affordable? We know that with the security and the amount of people that would show up, is it feasible, I guess is what I'm saying. All right, man, speaking of sports, we got a few things sports to talk about this morning. We got a guest coming in an hour, too. You guys are going to enjoy that, so stay tuned for that. Speaking of sports, if there's one person in this world that I hate, it's Megan Rapinoe, the purple-haired Black Lives Matter white barista-looking lady that plays soccer. Everybody knows her. She tanked Victoria's Secrets when they tried to get woke and use her as a model. She tanked Subway. All the foreigners that own Subway, and this ain't no joke, all those Indian dudes, they were calling Subway corporate raising hell. Get this lady off of these commercials. People are boycotting us because she's in the ads. Megan Rapinoe played her last ever soccer game Saturday. Maybe it was Saturday. Friday, Saturday. It don't matter. Whatever day it was. It was the Women's Pro Soccer World Championship. Apparently America has a Women's Pro Soccer League. And this was their championship game. Which all these things really are LGBTQ Democrat rallies. That's all it is in the stands, just a bunch of rainbow flags flying and all this kind of stuff. Diversity, equity, inclusion. It's just where those people go for their meetups. They're not really there for the sports. It's like a Democrat rally with a side of soccer. So anyway, 3 minutes. And y'all might remember Rapinoe. She was the female soccer player that kneeled for the national anthem when she was on the U.S. national team during the World Cup and everything else. She always kneels for the national anthem. I mean, gets her knee good and dirty. Good and dirty. Spent a lot of time on it. Kneeling for the anthem. 3 minutes into this game, she tore her ACL on a non-contact injury. If y'all don't believe there's a God out there, this is full evidence that there's a God of karma, if nothing else. The very knee that she spent so much time kneeling on during the national anthem, she blew out in her very last soccer game ever. I don't know if they won or lost. America won with her loss. So, That's good stuff there. And it was a non-contact injury, too, to make it all the better. I mean, just karma chameleon. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Let's see here. Got some text on the Guns and Gear text line. Keith says, agree with you on Megan Rapinoe. So did God exist when she was winning trophies and awards and photos shoots, but now he don't when things go bad. Complete waste of space. Yeah, much better off with her gone. Roger chimes in and says, it's the Mets, man. Strawberry, Dykstra, Billy Bean. Brad Pitt played him in Moneyball. I forgot Billy Bean was here, wasn't he? Thank you for that. And he goes, countless more pros. Yep. You know, my understanding is, allegedly, Darryl Strawberry left Jackson owing a lot of bookies, a lot of money. Don't ask me how I know. Josh says, the Rockers, indoor soccer at the Coliseum. That was a thing? We had indoor soccer at the Coliseum? I didn't remember that. Lightning says, she blew her knee out on Veterans Day after she had been kneeling for the flag. Oh, that's right. Even just throw a little more salt on that open wound there. After she kneeled for that anthem, kneeled for the flag, she blew her knee out on Veterans Day. You can't make it up, bruh. You can't make it up. This current generation of athletes / activists are the biggest bunch of idiots I've ever seen in my life. I mean, LeBron James, this is not an original thought here, but surely y'all have noticed. Every time they show LeBron James, he's always trying to look like he's reading a book. And he's always at the very beginning of the book. Every time they show him reading a book. And I want to say, I could be wrong on this. I'm probably not. I'm never wrong. One of the pictures, the book was upside down. So, you know, hey, bro, how you going to read that upside down? Let's see here. I'm going to read a couple more of your texts. We're going to take a break. Man, that first segment blew by. Anytime I get into talking about old school Jackson stuff, I mean, that's kind of how this whole thing started with the Save Jackson page, was talking about old school retro Jackson stuff. So it's fun to harken back to it every now and then. Let's see. Unknown texture says, too bad her ACL isn't connected to her mouth. Ah! So they can sew it shut when they fix it. Jake says, Mookie Wilson got married on the pitcher's mound at Smith Wills. Golly, so much great stuff happened down there. You know, I saw Destiny's Child at Smith Wills Stadium. I mean, you know, Beyonce is one of the biggest stars in the world, whether we agree with or disagree with the politics, any of that stuff. You know, she sells out football stadiums solo and all that now. You know, safe to say, I mean, her, Taylor Swift, two of the biggest stars in the world, and they're both out doing stadium tours at the moment. But saw 95.5 The Beat, when Scott Steele was still there, they brought Destiny's Child to Smith Wills for a radio show. And I just think back, there probably couldn't have been 500 to 1,000 people there. I mean, the stage was set up, you know, like on the pitcher's mound or over the pitcher's mound. So it wasn't a huge crowd. Maybe it was. Maybe it was more than I'm thinking. But in my mind, it wasn't more than about maybe 1,500 people on the top end. To think where they came from to where she's at now, it's pretty cool to be able to say who you saw back when they were coming up. One last thing before we go to break. Today is the anniversary of the passing of Woody Asaph, an absolute legend here in Mississippi. He was, Woody was with WLBT, of course. Let's see here. I got this. It says, Woody Asaph passed away on November 13th, 2009 in Raymond. He was born on March 15th, 1917 in Macomb. Woody started working for WLBT television in Jackson on December 20th, 1953, on the first day it went on air, and he worked there until he retired in 2001. I know my buddy Fred Shanks grew up basically on the same street as Woody over there in Alta Woods, and I remember riding my bike over in Alta Woods, and we always knew that's Woody Asaph's house. That's Woody Asaph's house. And somebody told me an old story, and I guess I'd like to confirm it one way or another. But I guess Woody was like the unofficial weatherman, but I don't think he was actually a meteorologist. So I think somebody showed up one day to try to whoop his butt for getting the weather wrong. And then from there on after, Woody always came back and said, the weatherman says, ... Let's take a break. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Free Range Human Show of Choice. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, we went out to eat Friday night, a little Mexican restaurant we hang out at there in Brandon. Shout out to my bartender, Jake. We always sit there at the bar and shoot the breeze with Jake. Really, really good guy. Man, I tell you what, that guy, he's got it figured out. He's got it figured out, man. Already starting to buy some property, to rent rental property and stuff. Super, super smart guy. Apparently his dad really raised him the right way. After that conversation I had with him the other night, I kind of left a little jealous of him in a good way. He'd buying up some trailers to rent and stuff to people, and I just think, man, I wish I had used my money at the time to have done stuff like that instead of chase that nightclub dream. But hey, you know what? You win some, you lose some. But I say all that to say this. There was a fella, a table full of folks, man, actually walked in. And guys, I'm terrible with names, but they walk in, they listen to the show, met a new listener. I won't say his name for the sake of this, but he was like, man, I just want to tell you, I go to Men's Health in Mississippi because of you. He's like, and I looked right at him. Of course, my girlfriend's standing next to me. I think his wife or girlfriend was with him. And I said, has she thanked you yet? But hey, all joking aside, man, people go because it works. Testosterone replacement therapy is a booming business right now because it works. Real talk. Because hormone replacement stuff is up like 400% in the country. Not just that, there's all kind of different ones, but testosterone is a huge part of that. We're living in a golden age of being able to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? So look, whether you're dealing with obesity, lack of sleep, can't get over the hump in the gym, loss of energy, any of these things, depression. I know you may be saying, McClay, what does depression have to do with my low testosterone? You'd be blown away. Do a little research. Erectile dysfunction. Guys, look, I know it's not the most appropriate thing to talk about in the morning times when you might have your kid in the car, but lack of the morning wood is usually one of the first signs that you have low testosterone. And low testosterone is starting to affect people younger and younger and younger. So get in touch with Men's Health MS today. Get your numbers checked. It's not expensive at all. Get your number. You don't need insurance for this, none of that. Trust me on this. The return on investment is well worth whatever you had to pay. And again, she'll thank you for it later. So get over there, check them out, menshealthms.com. They're located in Madison, Mississippi, menshealthms.com. And I will tell you the exact address here. I'm going to their Facebook page. Sorry, I should have that written down. But yeah, they're at 120 Fountains Boulevard, Suite 1001. 120 Fountains Boulevard. I'm sorry. Yeah, 120 Fountains Boulevard, Suite 1001, right there in Madison. But start online, menshealthms.com. Make sure you let them know you heard it on the Clay Edwards Show, and get your levels checked. Very, very important. All right, let's shoot back to some text messages here. By the way, our guest in the second hour, you guys are going to enjoy this. It's Christiana Dent. Christiana Dent, and she's with End It for Good. And it's going to be a conversation about addiction. They've got a big summit coming up, and you guys know I love talking about that kind of stuff. So, at least it'll be great for me anyway. All right, so Roger chimes in. We're still talking about the METS and all that good stuff. And let's see here. Get my text in order. Because peanuts wouldn't be the same since Mr. Jesse died. He was there every home game selling peanuts. Oh, yeah, I missed that part. Okay, so, and then he says, the weatherman says, and let's see here. Josh texted in and said that he heard it was a farmer that popped in on old Woody Asaph. That's what I heard too, was an old farmer. And I guess it either rained or didn't rain. I'm going to guess what happened was Woody said it wasn't going to rain, and it did. And the farmer missed his opportunity, or he did something, and he was angry with Woody. I'd like to hear that whole story if anybody knows it. Fred chimes back in on the Guns and Gear text line, says, the two things I remember about the Bandits. 1, mullets. 2, Bernie Ebbers smoking a cigar sitting behind me at one game. You know, one of the other things, too, I learned about, in the Bandits era was front row seats ain't the best in a hockey game. You actually want to be up a little bit so you can see it all. So, let's see here. Any more text I want to read before we get to this next thing? Woodrow says, caught Dr. John as well as Leonard Skinner at Smith Wills. I saw the Leonard Skinner concert too. That was Z-Fest one year. Yeah, look, there were some good concerts out there at Smith Wills, and it's frankly, to quote Oliver Anthony, it's a damn shame that they didn't convert that into an amphitheater of some sort. But also understood that the people who donated that land, if it's not used for baseball, they can take back control of it. That's why when they were talking about trying to put a Costco there a couple years ago, that it couldn't happen, that the city couldn't sell them that. It would have to be the family. It would default back to the family that donated the land. So it has to stay baseball, or it goes back into private ownership. That's how I understood that. If anybody can debunk that, please debunk it. Jess says, I loved the Bandits. All the fights on the ice, loved it. And look, man, we down in the South, boy, we love our fights. We love fights. We don't know much about hockey, but if you'll just get to the fighting part, you'll make some fans. You just win that fight. And we got your back. We got your back. Steven said, I always heard it was a concrete crew that got mad at Woody. That's a possibility, too. That would make sense. I would think a farmer would want rain. Let's see here. Unknown Texture says, I remember playing cup ball out by left field at Smith Wills. Oh, yeah. Roger again says, it's Hank Aaron's deal. What's going on out there? Doing well. Yeah, so it's the Hank Aaron Little League. They're really trying to get baseball into these urban areas and help with kids that can't afford. Let's be honest, man. Baseball can be kind of expensive, especially you're going to travel ball and all that. I mean, baseball is probably, just from a investment standpoint, the most expensive barrier to entry of any of the other sports, I would think. Between bats and mitts and cleats and uniforms and all that. Just my opinion, and I ain't played in a long, long time. Because I think most football stuff, there's not a whole lot of traveling football. I know you got the 7-on-7 stuff, but I mean, that's elite stuff there. But just like basketball, all you need is a basketball and some tennis shoes. Baseball requires a little bit more. So what they're doing with the Hank Aaron thing is trying to help kids who can't play. Because that's the whole thing, right? It's like everybody says, we got to have more black kids playing. We got to have more black kids playing everything. We got to get more black kids involved. And that's what the Hank Aaron thing is doing, is trying to get more black inner city kids to play baseball. We need America, in my opinion, needs more Americans playing baseball at an elite level. Whether it's black, white, whatever. So I'm all for anything that gets more Americans playing America's sports. I mean, I wish we had more black drivers in NASCAR. American. More black players in baseball. American. So I think we need that. I think we have too many foreign players in Major League Baseball, which makes it just uninteresting to watch for me. It's not that I have a problem with foreigners or anything like that, but they're not relatable. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I want people who sound like me, people who get it, people I can maybe have followed through college, stuff like that. Because that's the one thing that I've talked about this ad nauseum, where I think baseball, it's great live. It obviously does very well live. I don't know, the TV ratings, unless it's one of the big market teams. Because most of the players, let's say, for example, Mississippi State Ole Miss, you get these great players, these great college pitchers, and these players that we follow for 4 years. They get drafted high, and then they go out to Timbuktu in the great Northwest and play for 4, 5, 6 years in the minors before they resurface in the majors. And it's hard to get excited about that. It's hard to follow players. So, even, which is cool having a 2A team here with the Braves, because a lot of those players do make it up to the Atlanta Braves. So it is cool to be able to see that. Let's take a call. Hey, you're on there.
Hey, Clay.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Not much, man. How y'all on this Monday?
I'm doing good.
Hey, you was bringing up stuff. I remember there's something I missed real big time, which it's been going a while, was the bebop, especially the one on 55. Because about once on Fridays, I would go in there and spend hours just looking through all the music. And I can't remember the man that run it for years down there. Just love going there and having conversations with him.
Drake Elder.
Yes, man. I used to love to go and talk, because I was into speed mo and stuff like that, just carrying on. He introduced me to a lot of good stuff, because he was blown away, I loved all music, especially from Mississippi, just going there. Like I said, I'd spend hours on Friday.
Yeah.
Didn't he get robbed for some reason he got out of it?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but I maintained a friendship with Drake till the day he died.
Right.
The music, the electronic age just took over, and downloading and all that, it just became hard to remain profitable. But he also owned the Ticketmaster franchise in Jackson. Oh, so he had the office down at the Coliseum, and that's what he did, was set up Ticketmaster stuff and run all that. And
right, I remember getting a lot of tickets. A few connections, got in and got tickets, for free and everything. But man, like I said, that was just one of the things I remember being out in the country and like, let's go to Bebop. We'll go down there and just spend hours. They'd close down, wouldn't run us out. They just, hey, we get ready to close,
Yeah.
But sitting there and just, blessed that I got to, be a part of that.
Absolutely. Chris, I got to go, brother.
All right, man. Have a safe one.
You too. Yeah, man. A lot of memories at Bebop. I love they had the listening stations. You could go in and put the headphones on and listen to a whole album there before you buy it. So you're not buying just one of these albums that had just like one good song. Let's take a break. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. I guess we're doing like a retro Jackson hour this morning. Lots to talk about. We can get into more stuff if y'all want to. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, this segment is going to be brought to you by Pure Air Consultants. Pure Air Consultants is celebrating their 20th anniversary of delivering exceptional heating and cooling systems to Central Mississippi. And they want to offer you a rare gift, a free labor warranty for 5 years. Are you tired of expensive heating, furnace repairs, or high utility bills? Specialists at Pure Air Consultants, or specialties at Pure Air Consultants, include heater installation, furnace installation, heater repair, furnace repair, heating maintenance, heat pumps, heat recovery ventilator systems, and new construction builds, thermostat installation, and more. Financing is available. Contact them today at mypureairconsultants.com, mypureairconsultants.com. Ream, a new degree of comfort. So, guys, we're on this conversation this morning about things that we missed about Jackson, or things from our childhood that are no longer there. And look, man, sometimes things age out. Sometimes attrition gets things. When I say aged out, people retire. There's not somebody in the family to take the mantle, to continue on the business, to take the baton, so to say. That's what happened down at the Elite, and it's what happened with the businesses here in Jackson. Everything ain't because Democrats destroy Jackson, but most is. I did a video this weekend that I found. Let me see here. And it's Joe Biden screaming in the middle of a speech. Let me see here. Joe Biden screams. See if I can put my finger on this here. If not, I'll have to find it. And that is not Joe Biden. Anyway, Joe Biden doing a speech, and he's screaming about what he saw happen. He said, I saw it happen in my community. And I was like, you know what? I made a video, and I said, you know what? I saw it happen in my community too, Joe. He talked about some things destroying his community. And I said, I remember feeling the same way when Democrats moved into my neighborhood. When Democrats destroyed my Jackson, Mississippi. I know how you feel, Joe. I know how you feel when Democrats destroy everything. Now, I'm getting to say, I know how you feel, Joe, when Democrats destroyed my America. So, as we look around and you think about the things that we no longer have in and around Jackson, most of it you can thank Democrats for. I won't blame them for Bebop Record Shop. Technology got Bebop Record Shop. But just about everything else, Jackson. Let's see here. I want to make sure we mention this morning. Joshua Brown. We've done several segments on this show about the Joshua Brown case. He is the man who was arrested for the murder on the campus of JSU back on homecoming weekend. Joshua Brown was released. He's supposed to have a hearing today at 9. We've got Sean is going to be boots on ground in the hearing, covering it for us. Sean York-Run, that is. But Friday night, they released Joshua Brown from jail. And he was not supposed to have a hearing till today. So that speaks volumes, and I've got some sources that say this whole thing's been a bit of a cluster mess, putting it mildly. But I'm just going to kind of read you the quick little excerpt here from WLBT. It says, the man accused of killing a Jackson State University student has been released from jail. 19-year-old Joshua Brown, a former Jones Community College football player, was charged with the murder of 21-year-old Jalen Burns, who was shot and killed at the University Point apartment complex near the campus of JSU on October 15th. I believe that is actually on the campus, isn't it? Anyway, Brown was arrested on October 20th. Hinds County Sheriff Tyree Jones tells 3 on Your Side that Brown was released from the Raymond Detention Center Friday evening. Family members of Brown shared evidence with WLBT on October 30th that could suggest he was not at JSU during the time of the shooting. And I've wanted to make sure that we brought attention to this, but I've been hesitant about jumping too far in on the cops are wrong, the evidence says otherwise, let him go. Because I understand that a lot of moving parts. And, I try to give stuff like this a little room to breathe before we jump on one side or the other. But I think with his release Friday night before the hearing, now they have not said that all charges are dropped or nothing like that. I'm assuming it's still going to go to a grand jury. We'll find out this morning at 9 o'clock. So I think that leans very heavily that there may have been some issues with the investigation here that play into Joshua Brown's favor. So congratulations to him. If that's how it all plays out, it's got to be a terrible feeling to be sitting out in the Raymond Detention Center any longer than you have to be. If you've never been out there, a minute is too long. A minute is too long. So I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that. Also, a girl that I know, we weren't friends or anything, but it's a girl that I, knew socially over the years. She, a buddy of mine brought her to a cookout one time and just kind of met her here and there over the years. Joy Foster. She was the white female that they found dead in the road out there south of Byram there at Terry Road and Lebanon Pine Grove. They had found her dead out in the road. I don't know if she had gotten dropped off there or if she had been hit walking down the road. I don't know any of the details. They haven't released the cause of death yet. But a sad situation. I'll just leave it at that. But, I made a video. And I was specific about this. What was that, Saturday night, Friday morning? It would have been Friday night. I made a video and just said, hey, so whatever night it was, my weekend kind of runs together. But after it happened, I made a video. And I said, white girl, white woman found dead with these kind of clothes on. I wasn't doing that to say, look, white woman died in Hinds County. I was doing that because she had on some very specific clothing that would suggest she was from Rankin County. And she was. She was from Pelahatchie. She had on Rankin County, a Heinz Rankin shirt, and a Puckett Wolves jacket. Well, I use white as the descriptor because I want to grab people's attention because, it is Hinds County. So when somebody white dies there, or when somebody dies there, typically your first assumption is, just based on population, it's probably somebody black. Well, I put white in there because they didn't want somebody to maybe ignore it because they didn't think it had anything to do with them. And so I was like, hey, if you've got a missing family member that fits this description, I think our victim may be from Rankin County. Well, of course, the wokes decided to start attacking me on it. Oh, you just couldn't wait to say it was a white girl. It was a white girl. The description said it was a white girl. Like from WLBT, from the Hinds County Sheriff's Department, from Dark Horse Press. They just released the press release, and it specifically said white girl. Are we just not allowed to mention anybody's race anymore? I mention black all the time too. When it's in situations like black man, black girl, white man, white girl. I do not see the problem with that. The fact that that's offensive to somebody is mind-boggling to me. If I see a criminal, and Sean has talked about this before on the Nextdoor app there in Belhaven, where people, they said you can no longer use somebody's race as a descriptor, when saying a criminal did such and such. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world. So if two white guys robbed me, I can't say they were white. I'm guessing I can say they were white. That's nonsense. We all look different. You're trying to explain something. You have to explain the way somebody looked. Too woke for their own good. Let's take a break, come back, land the plane for the first hour. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on 103.9 FM WYAB. Guys, if you're booking your Christmas parties or catering, consider Burgers, Blues, Barbecue. They can handle from 5 to 5,000 people. That just put their catering, their holiday catering menu up on Facebook. You can get turkeys, ham, smoked turkeys, smoked ham, smoked pork, chicken, all sorts of stuff. They got it up on their Facebook pages, Burgers, Blues, Barbecue, Madison, or Brandon. I shared it to the Clay Edwards Show Facebook page. Not the Clay Edwards Show, but the Clay Edwards Facebook page. And look, they've also got their facility there in downtown Brandon with a huge patio that you can easily put a couple hundred people out there if you need an event space for your holiday parties or any of that stuff. They have 2 food trucks available for all of your special event needs. And let me see here. On the meats for the holiday catering, they have pulled pork, brisket, smoked turkeys, and hams with an array of sides. You can see the pricing there. But look, man, they can cater about anything you want. And if you can dream it, they can do it. 5 to 5,000 people. Don't forget to check them out at lunch. They have breakfast at the Madison location too, by the way. But the Blue Plate lunch today at both locations is chicken fried chicken, and hamburger steak with mashed potatoes, green beans, and potato salad. So check them out for your Blue Plates today. And don't forget, opening here in any day now is their 3rd location in Flowood, right there in front of Dick's Sporting Goods in, what's the name of that shopping center in Flowood? That mall? Dogwood. Thank you. Having a brain spasm there on a Monday morning. Dogwood, opening up right there on Lakeland in Dogwood. So check them out, burgersblues.com. That's burgersblues.com. And when we come back, we'll have Christina Dent, and we'll be right back. I hope you enjoyed this clip of today's Clay Edwards Show. You can tune in live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. on 103.9 FM, WYAB in Central Mississippi. You can stream it worldwide and live at WYAB.com, the TuneIn app, or Alexa. Just search WYAB. And of course, you're listening now on a podcast, so you can just hit subscribe where you're at. We update daily right here on the Clay Edwards Show, and check out all things Clay Edwards at ClayEdwardsShow.com for shirts and more. Peace.